All right, so recently we've been seeing a bunch of these videos popping up all over TikTok, gaining millions of views. Essentially what you have here are these Chinese manufacturers exposing luxury brands, designer brands, sportswear brands, whatever brand you could think of, for essentially producing their products in their factories, and then in return hitting us with these extreme markup prices, which we're forced to pay these high retail prices. So I think this is a practice we've all been aware of for years now, but I just feel like with the recent government issued tariffs and just the way that these videos are kind of like presented in front of our faces, I think it has a bigger impact and just kind of like hits harder at this current moment. So of course, all of your favorite luxury brands, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Hermes, you name it. As far as sneaker companies, Nike, Jordan brand, Adidas, all of these brands are essentially being exposed here through these various clips, which I'm not even gonna lie, like this is a little jump scare. Just a warning for everybody watching. She looking kind of crazy right here. But as far as this practice and everything like that, I would say there is also a lot of conspiracy. So while a lot of this does sound good, it's almost kind of like too good to be true. So let's go with the running theory that these products are produced in the exact same factories that the fakes are produced in. While I think there is some truth to it, when you think of like a, let's say, mega Fortune 500 companies such as Nike or Adidas, they do produce their products over in Vietnam or China. But I would say that they probably either outright own the factories, or they're either leasing or renting these specific factories. So no, I don't believe that, like, let's say after hours, they're shutting off the lights and then going ahead and producing the fakes and everything like that. I don't think that's exactly how it goes down. But my theory would be that, like, let's say maybe down the street or like around the corner or something like that, there is probably a smaller factory who are probably producing the bootlegs. They're probably getting the real product and trying to like reverse engineer it, you know, to go ahead and then make the knockoff product and everything like that. So I would say that's more so probably likely how it's going down. But again, I don't have all the answers and everything like that. Now, for smaller companies that aren't like mega Fortune 500 companies, such as like a Nike or Adidas, I do feel like they are probably sourcing these various products or various factories to produce their products, which I feel like that kind of blurs the line, you know, with confidentiality through these different factories and these companies. Take things back to like, let's say like the 80s and 90s. For a brand, they would probably have to go out and like actually fly out to China, build relationships with these manufacturers to produce these products. But nowadays, you can simply just jump on Alibaba, WhatsApp, and you got access to like thousands of these factories, which they're starving right now. Like they're literally willing to produce these products on the pennies for people, because right now, like ever since COVID shut down everything, these factories have been like, you know, pretty much starving out here, and they're willing to do whatever it takes. Like they're still literally hurting from COVID and everything like that. So I think it does kind of, you know, blur the line. But you know, I'm not judging anybody. I'm not saying like don't buy fakes or anything like that. But just for me, when I'm looking to purchase, like especially a performance product or something like a sneaker, I'm looking to just get the real deal. Because like, let's say when it goes through these companies, you know, they're gonna add extra measures of quality control. It's gonna just touch different hands before it actually hits the consumer. So of course we do know that they're gonna also like mark up the product for overhead costs and everything like that. But we do know the markup fees are actually like way too much, and these corporations are definitely greedy. But just like for me, when it comes to like a performance sneaker or just a sneaker in general, I'm just opting for the real deal. Like I don't want my shoes leaning or anything like that. And I'm just like, you could call me old school, but I come from the time where you just like walk into Foot Locker, buy your shoes and everything like that. So you can call me old school, but you know, I'd rather just buy the product, you know, from the real deal source and everything like that. Now, when it comes to designer products, your Gucci's, your Balenciaga, your Hermes, your Louis Vuitton, you know, I definitely have gone through my designer phase and everything like that. I think that's kind of stupid, you know, to buy like, let's say a $500, $600 t-shirt or something like that. Now, I'm not judging if you got it, you know, just go ahead and spend it how you want. But I would say that like, as far as these luxury brands, they're probably the most guilty of these like extreme crazy markups. So nowadays, I would say like probably the coolest thing to do, what most people are doing, including myself, is we're mixing a little vintage, you know, with some nice high-end pieces as well. Like as far as vintage, like it's really cool because you get the age look, it builds character. And also like a lot of these brands are basing their new product, you know, off vintage pieces and everything like that. So although something's old, it doesn't mean that it's not cool anymore. And it just could get a whole new life, you know, a new story and everything like that. So I think the coolest way to go is like mixing in vintage you know, with some nice high-end designer pieces. I think that's the best way to go to get an affordable but good look altogether. So what's going on right here, man, these clips are going absolutely viral now. As from my perspective, you know, being a content creator who's been on this platform for years, ever since I started creating sneaker content, I've been getting hit up by all of these fake sneaker companies. And we're not just talking about like a couple of DMs or a few emails. I'm talking about like probably like 10 emails a day, which I'll just be hitting my junk folder, or like on Instagram, I'll be getting like probably like 10, 20 DMs a day from all of these different fake factories willing to like literally send me products for free, you know, just in order to, you know, promote their company. So I feel like with this recent TikTok trend, back to it again, you know, it's a combination of the new government issued tariffs. A lot of analysts predict that with these additional taxes being targeted, you know, for these products coming from places like China, you know, analysts predict that these brands are going to then in return, you know, mark up the prices consumers will have to pay. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I think so far we are seeing some brands actually tack on an additional tariff fee. But we'll kind of see where the future holds, you know, as far as the tariffs and everything go. But these people, they're claiming, you know, that like basically you could just buy the stuff from them and in return get everything for cheaper, avoid the tariffs, which I don't know how that will really work, because wouldn't the tariffs then be tacked onto this stuff because it's coming from China anyways? But I guess kind of the whole point is that like rather than paying the crazy retail markups, you're going to be getting this stuff for like pennies on the dollar. So even if there is a tariff, you're still going to be getting it a lot cheaper, you know, from the brand and everything like that. So the way I look at it, you know, again, I feel like these manufacturers, they've been trying to push these fakes on us forever. As a content creator, I get offers like all the time from these fake bootleg companies. And I feel like just like with this recent whole like tariff controversy, it's just making these videos a lot more viral, a lot more impactful. And it's just kind of opening people's eyes. Like we've been aware of these practices for the longest, but I just feel like the way they're being presented and like with the tariffs, it's just a lot more impactful. So it's got people thinking. Now, would I say to go out here and like be buying up all this stuff? I wouldn't say to do so. I still, you know, prefer to get my stuff directly from the brands, you know, get good quality control and everything like that. But, you know, I would also say that it is also cooler to maybe, instead of us like padding these big Fortune 500 companies' pockets even more, maybe we should like go through smaller companies, you know, smaller brands that they have to do the hard work and source through these different Chinese suppliers, but they're not hitting us with these crazy overhead fees. Usually a lot of these smaller brands, you know, have a lot less employees, and in return, you know, they're not hitting us with these crazy markups. So that's my whole thing. I would say to one, go vintage. That's really cool right now. It's trendy at the moment. Plus, we know a lot of these trends and everything come from past vintage stuff. Two, I would say support smaller companies. Because we know these brands, they're hitting us with these crazy markups. So I don't think that necessarily a lot of this stuff is being produced in the same factories. I think that kind of draws the line, but I would say these companies are definitely hitting us with too much fees. So for me, I've been like a lot more selective, scaling back on a lot of stuff that I'm purchasing. Now, recently I did do a video talking about how nowadays, when it comes to the line between real and fake, it's kind of being blurred right now. Now, a lot of you guys had a lot to say about this, so I did want to mention some of the comments. Somebody put, I'm a 33-year-old and I'm past the days of emptying my bank account for a fashion item. If I want it and I can't get it for retail, I'm gonna buy a rep. I don't want to hear anyone talking about there's cheaper alternatives. Get the F out of my face with that. I'm buying what I want, and if I can't get it for the low, I'ma just do that. So I see where bro's coming from. Like, you know, again, I'm not telling y'all what to do with your money and everything like that, but like for me, while cheaper alternatives do exist, I like to go the vintage route. So somebody put, it's not scary, it's amazing. Let's keep this up. So I would say also nowadays, like with this new generation, they could really care less. And it seems like, especially through TikTok trends and everything like that, these kids, you know, they really could care less if it's real or fake. So somebody put fake sneakers made in the same factory, off the clock, it happens. It's been scary for some time now. See, again, I feel like that's kind of more of a conspiracy theory and not all the way proven, but I'm not gonna write it off altogether, but like I'm not just gonna jump to those conclusions. Somebody put, when the tariffs hit Nike, I'll be buying high quality knockoffs, which I don't blame you, but again, I feel like the tariffs would affect the cost of the knockoffs as well. So wouldn't you rather just get the real deal product? I mean, I don't really know. These are just questions I'm asking. Somebody put, if the fakes look like the authentic pair, as a consumer, we shouldn't care. They're taking our money regardless. If you can get it from the same exact pair for half the price, would you? I personally stay away from fakes. I can't tell the difference, but if they legit. So he said it himself, like, you can tell the difference between fakes. And because of that, that's the reason. I mean, if I'm gonna spend like good money, I'd rather just get the real deal anyways. So somebody put, not gonna lie, grab some fakes. See, there's a lot of people that really don't care. Francis, he put, fake sneakers being this good, only bad for resellers. Collectors are rejoicing. I mean, I guess. And then this dude put, Nike put out more sneakers, limit online purchases, selling stores, only make sure people are only getting one pair. Okay, bro. So yeah, I see a lot of people are mad. Plus, you got the fact that Nike's scaling back, also pushing people to buy fakes and everything like that. So I would love to know what you guys think. I think this is a very polarizing topic. I think nowadays people aren't really stressing too much about wearing fakes like that. And a lot of these Chinese companies are low-key, you know, exposing a lot of these brands. I wouldn't say outright that they're getting them directly from these factories, but they may be producing like one-of-one replicas that are just as good. So it's an interesting topic. I don't have all the answers, but I would love to know what you guys think. So drop your thoughts down below. John Alexander TV. I'll catch you guys next time. I'm out. Salute.